I would like to call upon Mr. Imran Iraqi, Head Security Business Services from Geo Business. Mr. Imran Iraqi leads Geo Security Business Service, a unit responsible for cyber security, product and service portfolio, offering for enterprises. He played leadership role in global practice head with leading cloud and data center service provider with the chapter developed comprehensive profit center of cyber security and portfolio. He firmly believes that cloud and cyber security through the platform led a spectrum as the vehicle that can help transforming journey, thereby helping India achieve its 5 trillion economy benchmark. His domain expertise range from cybersecurity to cloud emerging technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Imran Iraqi?
Pointer? Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I don't think any more introduction required beyond this point for me. I'm excited to be part of this August gathering of security fraternity, who shall be felicitated for their work and contributions and awards that would be given to them. It would be even more exciting to know and learn about their experiences that they have been through. So, Geo Business is an enterprise unit of Geo, which is committed to democratizing digital technologies for enterprises business in India. That's our endeavor. We have a diverse range of digital solutions spanning from just not mobility, voice and data, but also expanding into cloud, IoT, and host of other services. Today, I would speak largely upon the security aspect, which is under the hood of Geo Raksha. Now, Geo Raksha is a platformized thing, and how it works like, and what we delivered through our constant innovation is what I would like to discuss during my talk today. Now, if I look at the CISO's challenges, it's no more different what my previous other speakers have spoken to. But what I see, the threat landscapes had been changing. There is a modern exposure that has been happening to, and then there is an attack surface which had been increasing too. Now, if I look at these attack surfaces, we see a lot more new things coming in. 2022, end of 2022, I would say, the AI emerged, right? Now, all of us are responsible for ensuring, as a community, how a responsible AI can be committed. It's still in inception. While we are facing the challenges which emerge from the work from home and the pre-COVID era and everything that emerged upon to, the risk has been expanding. As a CISO, we need to assure our board that we are reasonably secured. As an industry practitioner, we keep on in the race where the new attacks are being resurfacing to. What it means, we are getting into a lot of complexities, a lot of tools, a lot of vendors, and of course, the scarcities of human in terms of the skills. And I'm proud that we are the defender for the nation, right? With the limited people, tools, and capability that we have in. And I'm also looking forward that we as a country would not be serving us, but also the rest of the globe on the cybersecurity space. One study says there is an open requirement of 3 million cybersecurity defenders worldwide. So, my message is, we are better together. Now, as we embarked upon the various other services which transform our digital lives, livelihoods, and our enterprises, and the new product and services that have launched to, cloud became the obvious vehicle. almost 81% of the enterprises had one or the other piece of cloud that they have emerged into. Two, there has been increase in the cloud portfolio in terms of the spend. Now there is a side to it. Every organization which has gone to the cloud, they also want to optimize their FinOps. But what has been lagged in terms of the security posture? Because the business has emerged, they have gone about taking the cloud as the initiative where they can launch applications, launch products, and the security had to be on the pace. And if you look at what my previous presenters have spoken to, had been no different. The 5 risks Ninad spoke to is relevant. The misconfiguration still relevant in terms of the another number which comes into picture. And of course, we have to do more with the less resources that we have in, right? And this is where we have to focus all around. This is an exciting slide on the law of cybersecurity risk, right? If we believe in all those 10 laws of cybersecurity, we are relevant. And if I have to read it, what does the first mean? If, look at the attackers of today, few hundred, few thousands, the malwares are available. What we have a defense mechanism where we make it so difficult for attacker that his ROI is ruined, right? The second, not keeping up is failing behind. So we have to always be on the curve, understanding what new tactics are being developing to. Once deploy and close is not the option. The third, as we see in the cloud era, productivity always wins. No longer was the case that you're developing new product and services behind the four wall of your data center and server hall. So productivity always wins, and cloud became the obvious answer. Fourth, attackers don't care, right? One of the speakers spoke of, right? Today's the attackers are just not limiting themselves to ransomware, but they are thinking of irreversible damage. They are thinking of wiping out your infrastructure, right? Double whammy, double ransomware. That's what it is coming up. Third, as a business, as a CISO, as a security community, in our respective enterprises, we have to be loud, clear, and ruthless in terms of how we have to prioritize our cyber risk. Sixth, security is a team sport. The team sport is just not limited to you, your team, but as a market ecosystem. It expands to your partner ecosystem too. Seventh, your network is not as trustworthy as you see. We may feel that we have a moat and castle kind of a security. We have invested largely on the team. We have a vendor in place. Does it mean we are secure? No. Fourth, the isolated networks, what we talk of, the zero trust, which is being called of this micro-segmentation, how do we ensure those isolation really help too, right? Are there any backdoors? Are there any command controls being available from the outside world? 8, Kalpesh also spoke to, encryption is not the answer, right? We have a lot to think about the privacy. We have a lot to think about the data encryptions. We have also a lot to think about the protections. Nidad spoke about the ransomware. Backup also is not the answer. Creating an immutable copy of your backup is the answer, right? How you can ensure that the attackers are not able to corrupt the data. If the attacker has gone into your network, by obvious, he has the access to your network. He can move left, he can move right. He can move the ladder across your skills in the enterprises, right? He can do lateral movement in our terms. What that means, we need to have an immutable copy of our data, which the hackers cannot do it, so that it again defeats its ROI towards the destruction. The last point, the product, technologies, for every known problem, we have a box, we have a solution. That doesn't solve the purpose. We have to think differently, understanding that we are in an age where we are facing acute skill shortages across industries, understanding that we have an integration point to be met to, because our applications are diverse, our businesses have moved beyond boundaries, our consumers requires a better experiences, right? So we need to ensure that our products, our technologies embarkment are just not limited, that we keep on adding to the stack of all technology that we bring into the table. Yeah. As Geo business, the Geo Raksha is our offering portfolio where we endeavor to bring security services which is simpler, affordable, and accessible. We have democratized the cybersecurity for our community, for the nations, and for the businesses to leverage upon. Look at this. We have the Geo Raksha platform, which has the plethora of services, which is at the heart of it. We have our customers and marketplace to give the rich experience leveraging on data, informations, and insight in the entire customer life cycles. If you look at the tech stack of it, we don't believe that the products and services and OEMs, how they would work to. We believe in integrations of right from identity, network, data, applications, endpoint, databases, and not where you store it. Because as an enterprise, you will embark on the right fit proposition for your application. Your applications and your business may demand for a certain application to be on DC, or it could be a public cloud or a hybrid cloud ecosystems. So spanning across this, it has to be anonymized. On the bottom stack, we work across all OEMs, cloud techs, big tech, fintech, regtech, telcos, IoT, and the 5G, which has been emerging too. So that completes our entire portfolio, which we call as Geo Raksha value chain. We are getting into a new territory where the threat and risk are unknown. While we have the team, while we have the tools, while we have the technologies, do we know how to break in? Do we know where we are susceptible to a risk or a compromise? The day, as a practitioner, we know to break things, we know the things are in right shape. If a product vendor has given you a solution, is it right fit for you? If a technology has been implemented in your organization, whether you have a backdoor. If you have this capability, believe me, your 95% of the problem could be solved. And I would like to call on stage my friend Rakesh Dwivedi to speak on Geo Threat and Vulnerability Management Solutions that we have in, which is platformized offering, and his viewpoint not on the how Geo does it, but how are we solving the industry problem. Over to Rakesh.
Thank you, Imran. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rakesh Dwivedi, and I head the Geo Infrastructure Security team. And today I'm going to talk about the Geo TVM services, which is Threat and Vulnerability Management Services. To start with, we all know that how technology has evolved in last 5 years, especially in the last 3 to 4 years during the COVID era, right? In fact, in last 5 years, most of the companies, most of the industry sectors, which are nothing to do with the technologies, are also becoming a technology organization. The predictions are so that the next 5 years, any company and every company will become a technology-oriented company. We are entering in an era where we are talking about AI, ML, we are talking about chat, GPT kind of technologies, where the attacker has a leverage. Just by putting right questions, they will get everything, ready-made items to attack a particular organization or to attack a particular technology. So that is the era that we are talking about, right? So what I'm trying to tell in this is, we are entering into the new age technologies, and those new age technologies means we will be having new types of threats which will be real, sophisticated, and targeted. The threats are always there, right? But the impact of those threats are increasing rapidly because we are adopting those technologies very rapidly, right? Without understanding three major factors. The first factor is people. We have to remember that people are the weakest link in security. They were the weaker link, they are the weakest link, and they are going to become a weakest link. They will continue will become a weakest link, right? So we have to understand that how we can cater those weakest link, how we can mitigate those weakest link is where the first focus should be. The second, the vulnerabilities will remain the same, right? We are entering into an era where we are seeing approximately 1.7% increment in the number of vulnerabilities which are getting released every year. And in a study, what we have seen that in next 5 years, this 1.7% may go up to 3%, right? So we are going to be bombarded with so much of vulnerabilities, so much of risk, right, that we have to cater. And the most importantly, the cyber threats, the attackers, right, they are increasing day by day because the meat is there, because the money is getting involved, because they are enjoying their activities. They are getting very handsome salaries, they are getting a lot of money, right, out of those activities that they are doing now, which was not there earlier. So how we have to cater this problem? So there are two ways. First, we have to understand that we have to protect the complete technology stack. Now this can be a repetitive topic because our audience are mostly CISOs, right? So they understand what I have written here in this presentation. So everybody talks about securing their technology infrastructure, securing their host and container infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, virtual machines, containers, application and data. Everybody knows about this. But the devil is in the details. Most of the vulnerability management program that we run, right, are actually driven majorly from the compliance point of view. See, you pick up any standard. If you talk about vulnerability management, they will ask for whether your servers are patched or not, or they will ask for whether your network devices are patched and hardened or not, right? That is what they are going to ask. And that is where most of our CISOs are also focusing, right? But there are a lot of components which we are missing right now. To explain this, I'll give you two examples. First example is the VMware ESXi servers. How many of the CISOs are actually taking ESXi hardening and patching that seriously that we are taking on servers? Can I have hands, please? Good. Only 2, 3. So that's the reality. Only 3. Last year, in Feb 2022, one of the, I'll not say the largest one, but one of the biggest telco got hacked, and their services in one of the country was down. The entire country telco was down, right? Because the attacker was able to compromise the ESXi machine, and from that ESXi machine, they have actually encrypted the entire server stack. And that telco has taken almost 10 days to recover their services to the normal stage. So that's the downtime that we are talking about. The entire country was down from the telco perspective. I will not name the company, right, because that's not the right thing. The second example that I will like to take is related to ILO security. How many of the CISOs are actually focusing on ILO securities? Perfect. The answer is nobody. From last 1.5 years, right, the European hackers and the US hackers are actually targeting Iran, and they are targeting on two different components. One is the VMware SXI machines, and the second is the ILO. They are using rootkits which can exploit ILO directory. Okay? The ILO bleed is the name of that rootkit. So point that I am trying to highlight is, although every CISO is covering all these stacks, right? But we are missing the crux. We have to ensure that every vulnerabilities, right? Every technologies has to be catered. Every vulnerabilities that matters has to be catered, right? Because if we will not hunt those vulnerabilities and address those vulnerabilities in timely manner, somebody else will hunt us, right? The only advantage now I can see for the CISOs are, in earlier stages, if we get hacked, right, if a company get hacked, the CISO got sued, right? But now organizations are also understanding that hack can happen, right? Now what we have to do is we have to ensure that the impact of those hacks is limited, right? That will happen. Now, where GeoTVM will come into the picture. Now, if you look into the traditional vulnerability management program, the conventional program is driven from the compliance, right? ISO 27001 requirement is patch your systems and patch your hardener and harden your system quarterly. So we are doing that in a quarterly manner. So when we are talking about a quarter cycle, right, we are talking about risk of 6 months, because 3 months we will consolidate all those patches and 3 months we will implement those patches. So almost 6 months of risk is there, which is good enough time for any attacker to attack your network, to attack your infrastructure. The second is the periodic, which is again the compliance and periodic are very complex and very much related to each other. And the third piece is tool-oriented, tool-focused vulnerability management program. See, I am into this field for more than 15 years now. And what I feel is, in most of the organization, especially those guys who are actually working on ground, what they are doing is they are just having a tool, they are running the scans, downloading these reports and bombarding those reports to the application team or the platform owners to fix it without even understanding what the findings are there, right? So the tool-driven approach has to be changed. We have to move from these conventional behavior to mitigate the new cyber, new sophisticated and real type of and targeted based attacks, right? Now how we can do that? First, we have to understand the risk. We have to understand every single component, and we have to understand what kind of risk can be there in those components, and we have to mitigate those risks in a timely manner rather than mitigating the risk based on the CVSS score, because CVSS has given us the critical findings, so I'll fix it as a critical finding, right? That's not going to work. The second is, it cannot be periodic. It has to be continuous, it has to be 24/7, 365 days. Because if we will not identify those risks, right, somebody else will identify and somebody else will misuse those vulnerabilities. And third is the most important thing, the automation. Because first two cannot be achieved if we do not have an automation. What I believe is every company has to set up a journey for managing their vulnerabilities. Because automation cannot be done in a 1 day or 1 year, right? We have to understand that everything cannot be automated. So what we have to understand here is, and what we have to do here is, we have to pick and choose the high risk area, automate those things first so that the manual efforts don't go there, and then automate the other manual efforts, right? So like first year 30% automation done, it should be the target. The second year it should be 50%, the third year it should be 70%, and the fourth year or fifth year it should be approximately 80%. I think most of the companies should target 80% of automation and 20% of those manual skill sets that we have. Because those technology, those manual technical skill sets are always going to help, right? It's not that automation will remove those resources, the technical resources that are required. So how we are catering this? Okay, first of all, before starting this slide, I would like to put a disclaimer that we are not here to build a vulnerability management solution. Okay? So any company, whether you are using any vulnerability management solution, whether it's from Tenable, whether it's from Qualys, whether it's from Rapid7 or any vulnerability management solution if you are running, we are not going to replace those vulnerability management solutions. What we are going to do with this vulnerability management engine is, we are going to help you in providing those automation solutions. We are going to help you in enhancing the use of these tools that are already there in the market. Now, how we are doing this is in the center. If you see the high level flow that we are doing, what we are doing is our sensors will do a continuous scan. The scan will be from internal and external, right? That will go into the scan data analysis, which is one of our big data analytics platform, which will detect 3 kinds of things, and this is all real time, okay? Which will detect 3 kinds of things, which is how many live hosts are there, what services which are running on there, and what vulnerabilities which are running on that, right? Now, this is very simple. Any tool can do this. After that is the most important piece. Identify those vulnerabilities or those services which are exploitable in nature. Exploit those vulnerabilities, prepare POCs, send it to the notification engine, and make a report and send it to the actual owner so that the owner can take an action, right? And the last piece, which is the closure and compliance dashboard, the owner can itself trigger an assessment once they have fixed those vulnerabilities. Now, what is important here is, we are not planning to bombard with the vulnerabilities to those owners, because they are already bombarded with the vulnerabilities during the vulnerability management program. What focus that we have is, we want to highlight those vulnerabilities which are actually hackable in nature, which has some risk associated with this, and that is not limited to only servers or network devices. Okay? That's the key focus that we have. And this, we are supporting both cloud and data center environment, all 3 major cloud platforms, including GeoCloud. This is, I know my time's up, but I'll take 5 more minutes. This is one of the important thing, because reporting is the most important piece in any vulnerability management solution. See, if you look into the traditional one, which we can see here, right? The traditional vulnerability management solution focused on the CVSS score. You can see what I have done is I have taken an example. So we have scanned some 6 sample systems, and those 6 sample systems are actually giving us around 4,600 vulnerabilities. And as per CVSs, there are 866 critical vulnerability and 1932 high vulnerabilities are there. Now, if I'll give this report to an application owner, the application owner will say, boss, so much of work to be done, right? Now, with the risk-based approach, which is there on the right-hand side, what I'm telling is, boss, you don't have 866 critical vulnerability. You have only 192 critical vulnerabilities. And those 192 is also resulted in how the exploit will work, whether it's a local exploit, remote exploit, or local plus remote, which is a mixed exploit. Now, if you look into these two, if you correlate these two figures, right, what we understand is only 5 here, which are remotely hackable, and 45 critical here, which are locally and remotely hackable. So, number has drastically reduced. Okay. Now, from this number, what we are saying here is, in the remediation analysis, that only deploying this 18 patches will reduce your 82% of risk. So, on one side, we are giving them 4,600 vulnerability to fix, where the user will will think about so much of things to work, right? And the another side, what we are saying is, just patch this 18 vulnerabilities, your risk will be reduced to 82%. That's the kind of automation, or that's the kind of reporting is the need of an hour, right? Plus, we also have to segregate those findings, because we have to understand the findings are related to OS layer, the findings are related to middleware layer, the findings are related to database layer, the findings are related to your application or COTS product, right? Not one team will have expertise in all those 4 domains. There will be different teams who will be responsible for closing those vulnerabilities. We just have to ensure that our automation report, our vulnerability management report should clearly articulate that which team should fix those findings, rather than just blindly release all those findings. So, we actually do multiple segregations in that, and all our reports are actually divided into 5 different categories. So, baseline is 1, the vulnerability management VA report is on the OS layer, the DB is on the database layer, the middleware is on middleware layer, and the application layer is the application layer, because we believe that all these layers are different and all these technologies are different, and people who are working on those technologies are also different. Now, what is on offer is, within the VM services, what offers that we have, we support all the platforms that we have, right? Within vulnerability management services, we will get the threat advisory services on a weekly manner. You will get the container security assessment from us. You will get the penetration testing services from us. And most importantly, you will get the secure configuration review. Now, most of the CISOs can say that, boss, we are already following this, right? But you pick any standard, whether you are picking CS standard or PCI or DISA or any standard. No standard is applicable fully in any organization. So, we have to understand that what is implementable, right, in organization to mitigate those risks. And that's where we focus on this. And not only this, not only on OS layer, we also build customized minimum baseline security standard on database layer, on middleware layer, on application layer, right, and other appliances whose even CIS benchmarks are not available. Now, this is the value add that we have. I will not, because time's up again. So, this is a snapshot that what we have achieved last year. So, around 4.1 million vulnerabilities has been fixed last year. We have done an analysis of 100K plus servers, hardening and patching has been done. 41,000 penny testing, okay, somebody has done some sort of changes here. So, 27,000 plus penetration testing vulnerabilities, which means the remotely hackable and locally hackable vulnerabilities has been identified and fixed in last year itself. 41,000 plus unique assessment has been conducted last year, by GeoTVM team, and we have 40 plus certified and skilled resources. Believe me, this 40 plus certified and skilled resources will not be able to do all these jobs if we will not have the automation in place, right? So automation is a key thing. And this is what we have on offer. So we have 3 plans on offer. Plan ABC, which is the starter, advanced, and expert services. The expert services covers the entire portfolio, which covers your vulnerability management, which covers your penetration testing, which covers your report, and which covers your complete vulnerability management lifecycle along with the configuration audits. These are the partners and clients with which we are working right now. You can see a lot of government organization also. Recently we have delivered one of the project in NIC, right? That's it. Any questions?
Thank you so much. I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Dwivedi, for giving us such a powerful session. And now I would like to call upon Mr. Basil Dange, CISO at Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, to felicitate Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi and Mr. Imran Iraqi. Can we please have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen?